Friend podcast, where we bring the experts from Donaldson around the table to explore everything from health and lifestyle to skincare and appearance. And today I've got a treat for you. We're going to talk about the pitfalls of fad diets and the best diet to start today. I ask Dr. Weston this all the time. Top trending skincare gadgets and if they're worth it, longevity hacks, the verdict on cold plunges, and infrared light. There's a debate, and so much more. Excited to have my friends and coworkers join me, Dr. Marguerite Weston, Nikki Rucinsky, and Liz Donaldson. Dr. Weston is a board-certified functional medicine physician who began her own health journey as a patient. Nikki is a medical aesthetician who knows everything you need to know about skincare and beauty. And Liz is a health-focused mom and wife to plastic surgeon Dr. Donaldson. She brings questions to the table and the how-tos for keeping wellness at the center of her family. Let's dive in. All right, guys, how are we?
Good.
Survived Monday?
Barely.
What'd you do?
We're here.
I worked.
You did?
And then I had a dentist appointment.
But you're not supposed to work.
I know, but I know.
But you always are.
I know.
How about you, girl? You were off today.
I had a training. I had a training
for
on
what?
some chemical peels, which
Nice.
I did not know we actually got peeled on. Like I had a chemical peels out today. When they announced that, I was like, oh, okay.
I love it. What brand?
All right, in Byron.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Where was that?
That's good. It was in Grandview.
Cool.
Yeah.
How about you?
I went to the grocery store. I worked out.
Nice.
I did some laundry and got ready for you guys to come over. Thanks for coming
Unexpectedly,
over.
yes. Thanks for having us. Thanks for
It's
hosting
so fun
tonight.
to have you over.
I love it. And those were all on brand topics you guys just talked about, and that wasn't even choreographed, so thank you for that. We're going to talk about fitness, and we're going to talk about beauty, and we're going to talk about nutritional and like diet fads today because there's so much going on.
Yes.
There's so many myths and truths, and we have a couple experts on board, so Liz and I are lucky tonight that we're going to hopefully learn something. So as we know, our friends are always asking questions. And I think maybe it was you, like your friend was mentioning like some of the fitness trends and you just did something really cool with some kind of pass or something.
Yeah, so it was Class Pass. So have you guys done it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it. So basically what it is it's you pay and you can just get credits and you can use those credits to go to certain classes at different studios all around. So it's a good way to like be able to try different things. You can do Pilates, yoga, strength training, and it's so great.
That's awesome, especially when like you move to a new area.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of having to just like commit to one place and be like, well, I like it, but what else is out there? What else can I do?
What were your like takeaways from it? What did you love and what did you love so much?
I love Pilates. Pilates is very humbling. Oh my gosh. Like there's no weight involved, right? So you're like, oh, it's going to be easy. No,
Yeah.
it's so hard. I've never been more shaky in my life than doing Pilates. But I will say cycling's not for me.
Me either.
Cycling's hard.
It hurts areas I don't want to hurt.
Yes.
Just to say that.
Yes. Yes.
No, I don't want that area sore.
No, and it is.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
awful.
I didn't go back to another class of cycling. So
Nice.
probably won't.
Did you do like the hot yoga?
Yes, and I love it.
Yeah, you do that.
Mm-hmm.
You do a variation of it though.
I'll do a hot yoga. I don't like yoga. I know I'm supposed to. It's really good for you. I understand that, but I swear it gives me more anxiety to have to do it.
Yeah.
So we do a hot yoga lift. So we do 30 minutes lift, 30-minute yoga.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I wanna
good.
try
So it's
that.
kind of nice.
I
yeah.
like that because I don't like yoga either. I get bored
Thursday
with the
mornings.
repetition, but I would like the lifting.
Yeah.
How hot though? Because there's a
Hot.
wide range when they say
Yeah, I don't
hot.
know. I've only done it once.
And some of them are nice and some of them are
Yeah.
You're
barely
very
bearable.
uncomfortable and it's hard to breathe. It's like
And you have to
sticky.
adjust to it.
Yeah, you do. It's definitely not, whenever you do hot yoga, it's not like full guns a-blazing. You're not like moving around too much because you probably would pass out because it's so hot.
Yeah.
But you do melt, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
pretty
it is.
hot.
Yeah, and I love it.
I mean, it's called melt.
We
I
do
mean,
have
it's
people
not-
that have to leave the room.
You
know what we're getting into.
You know what you're getting into, girl. So if you're walking in that door, I mean, it's on you.
Yeah,
I love it.
you can like fall because it's just slippery if everyone's sweating.
Oh,
yeah.
Isn't that a
Oh,
grilled
yeah,
cheese
I mean-
restaurant name too?
It is. That's so true. Is it like
Not the same.
Does it, like,
No.
I have to ask this because
Yeah.
you go into saunas and sometimes, but like, does it stink with all the sweat?
So they do a phenomenal job of
Do
cleaning,
they?
but like I'll have to, because I have to leave right after yoga, so I'll have to put my weights away halfway, and when you walk back into the room, you're like, oh, it's
Didn't
right
realize.
Yeah.
today. Yeah, but I've heard that the 5 p.m. class smells a lot more than the 5:30
That makes
a.m.
sense.
class.
Duly noted.
Yes.
When you're training in the morning, not after they've been sweating all day.
I love it.
Have you guys ever tried aerial yoga?
No, I would
but
love to do that though.
I'm gonna try it soon. I'm taking Dylan with me.
Where do they have that?
I used to do it at Yoga on High, which sadly is closed, but they had a great aerial yoga
Yeah,
class.
they just opened a couple. There's one in Dublin and one in Hilliard.
Very cool. You do a really cool workout you post on, and it looks really, it looks hard. Like,
Yeah, so I do Pilates 3 days a week, which I've been doing for years, and I think that's just the base to kind of keep me together to do other things. And then starting in August, I started doing it's small group training, HIIT cardio combined with circuit weight training, and it's really fun. It's really different every time. It's super fun music. I love the trainer, Shane. He's awesome. But it's a great workout. It kind of hits everything, and it's quick moving because I think the fad of hard cardio, getting on the treadmill, cranking it out for 30, 45 minutes, an hour, I think they're finding that that's not as healthy as more of an interval training where you're getting spurts of cardio mixed in with other activities.
I think that's a lot of the questions around exercise. Like, so I have a running group and we run a lot of mornings and they just run. And so I've gotten questions like, hey, so I'm not losing weight. I'm running this many miles and, every single week and I'm still not losing weight. And so that's kind of, I think, where a lot of newer research is helpful for people because I think kind of grew up in the like Jane Fonda step aerobics, like calorie in, calorie out, and like, just cardio. Everything is cardio. And no one wanted to lift weights because we didn't want to bulk up. I don't want to look like a man. Right. And so gladly that is shifting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So also you mentioned no one wanted to lift heavy weights, but now it seems like the trend is shifting towards the fact that we should be lifting heavier
100%.
weights.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, our idea that we are going to like bulk up like a man, we're not made the same. Like our muscle cells aren't made the same, our hormones aren't made the same. And if we look at longevity, we have to keep our muscle mass. And so I always tell people there's 3 things you need for muscle mass. You need balanced hormones, you need to eat protein, and you actually need to lift the weights. And I'm like, you can't lift like 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, you can, and then you just toss them aside. You have to lift heavier weights. And so, and it should be different. You can, I can go into real specifics, but, lifting not quite your heaviest most of the time, but then sometimes like once every other week or so, you're trying to lift heavier for that day. Obviously less reps, but that's what you need to build muscle.
You're challenging your body.
Yes, and it changes your metabolism. As we get older, we get gooey. Like I have this conversation all the time with people. Like it starts at 35, you start losing muscle mass, and
so true.
Women are like, I'm doing the exact same thing every single day, and why is this happening? I'm like, well, because we're changing, our hormones are changing, like we change, so we have to change and pivot with our body. And so if you're not doing something to combat that muscle loss, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So you have to lift. Like you
And
have to lift and you have to eat protein.
Yeah.
And it
protein
helps
is
your bones
crazy.
too. And then it helps your metabolism. Like our muscles and cells are not just, muscle and fat cells. They're not just cells that just, move our bones and store energy. Like they actually secrete hormones.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that.
No.
That's crazy.
And our fat cells aren't going to secrete the better hormones.
yeah, yes, that would be nice.
That would be
Not gonna
great.
lie, that would be amazing. I travel a lot, so I'm on the fad of the Peloton app. I don't know if you guys have done it, but I'm obsessed with it because it's just easier for me to do home workouts because I'm always going, and there's no excuse not to. But you can do like pick how long you want to do it. They have like a filter, how long, what body part you want to work on. They have bar routines, like just body weight routines. Pick your instructor, which I have certain ones I love. And so I really like that a lot. And it's just, there's no excuse, sadly. But you have
I've
to
heard
do it.
great things about that app.
I really like it.
Yeah.
It's fun. I just want somebody to tell me what to do. I don't want to have to like go to a gym, one and think about what am I doing today, and then you plan it, and then someone's on all the machines you want to use,
Yeah.
and then you're like, all right, well that's out the window. So now I got to do some other workout, and then I just cannot stand doing that. So that's the only way I am successful for sure.
Yeah.
That's impressive that you're able to work out on your own by yourself.
Yeah, I like it.
Good for you.
I do like classes the best. Like I love the camaraderie and like it pushes you to work harder,
Yeah.
you know, when you have a trainer and like other people doing it. So I do miss that. And once I'm kind of in one spot for a longer period of time, I'll start doing that again. But in the interim, it has like been really cool. It's like cool to have, like if you're traveling, like a hotel even down the road, if I don't use it as much, it's not that expensive.
Yeah.
So highly recommend. Yeah. I just got to go back to my 80s days. When I think of fads, I think about the Thigh Master.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Was that Suzanne Summers?
Oh my gosh,
Wait,
yes.
didn't she write the big menopause
She
book?
did.
Yeah.
Yep. I think she
Have
kind
you-
of started that
Is that
trend.
movement? Yeah.
Yeah,
Of we
like
need
that
to talk
whole
about
movement.
And she
this
started doing some really crazy radical like fads with all surrounding that. Like, didn't she do like very controversial things? I can't remember what they were, but it was like, you know, pretty out
Yeah.
there,
It'd be
especially
interesting to read
back
that book
then.
Now,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it's much more in the limelight. Like
Yeah.
my patient today sent me an article Katie Couric did about hormone replacement, like the things that she wished she knew. Because I think we've done a disservice to the generation of like baby boomers who now have not had any hormone replacement. All their bones are brittle. They have more heart attacks. Like it's just, we've definitely done a disservice. So I'm just glad it's out there, and a lot of people are talking about it. I mean, Drew Barrymore was talking about it, and you know, Halle Berry's talking about it. So
Did you see the Wall Street Journal article though about Drew Barrymore specifically and the doctor and the supplements that they're kind of pushing through their platform? It was really, I mean, it was great that the Wall Street Journal picked it up because again, it's highlighting the topic which we want to be talking about more. But it was raising the issue of maybe, you know, real functional medicine versus sort of influencer,
Oh my gosh.
functional medicine. I don't know what to call her, wellness, and the good and the bad with that.
yeah, I just saw something about Halle Berry pushing whatever certain kind of probiotic. Like, just because you love something and are passionate about it doesn't mean you should give advice to other people.
Yeah.
I mean, you can talk to your friends and things, but I think people have to be careful when they're giving, especially in those situations, because people look up to them. They would do anything they.
Yeah. I
said.
mean, Halle Berry looks amazing.
Yeah,
so,
but like
yeah.
that's Halle Berry.
Yeah.
You have to do what's right for you.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't really do that without having some kind of labs and at least talking about risk benefit for people. I mean, hormone replacement's not for everybody. It's definitely for more people than we currently think it is, but you have to have that discussion.
1,000,000%.
How should people, obviously people live in Columbus, they should come to you, but just in asking for friends who ask me this all the time, who maybe don't even live here, how would one find a legitimate functional medicine if you were doctor, if you were interested in pursuing some of these tests and learning more about your body in this way?
So there are several areas. So IFM is Institute for Functional Medicine, and so they have a find a provider area, and you can see providers who have like started the certification and then ones who have completed it. So that's helpful. Someone with like a fellowship in integrative medicine, or through something called A4M, they have a fellowship that would be accredited. And then if you're looking for like a certain test, you can go to that testing website and they'll have find a provider.
Okay.
And then you can see what kind of credentials in the provider. But I do recommend you have a credentialed provider.
Yes, that's the key.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then understanding which credential.
Correct.
I think the market is getting confusing.
Extremely.
Extremely. I agree. And you can tell your friends too that we do virtual all the time. So
Yeah.
you can always see Dr. Weston or any of the wellness providers virtually because they can have their labs drawn wherever they are, and then we can send them the test kits from where we are and do all the appointments virtually. A couple of my friends have done that, so it's worked really well.
That's awesome. That's amazing technology. We can do that.
And COVID, that's one good thing that came out of COVID.
yes.
I mean,
So moving on to like along the lines of, you know, fitness trends is diet. It kind of goes hand in hand.
gosh, so
And
many.
So many. I feel like everything now is like steering towards plant-based.
I feel like I hear that all the time. Obviously, we have all the weight loss going on right now with like the semaglutide and Ozempic and things like that. And like, what are your thoughts on that? The fads, what's like?
I think anytime you have a fad for weight loss, it's something that's easy and people lose a ton of weight right away, quickly. Neither of which are good things. If you lose weight super quickly, you're probably losing water, and then you're probably losing muscle. So neither of those are beneficial. So if you want it to stay off, you actually want it to come off at a healthy rate, which is about a half pound to a pound a week. I know that's slower than what everybody wants.
Interesting.
And people think that it needs to, well, people think it comes on overnight, but it really doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it seems as though it does, but it doesn't. So it's not going to come off that way. But honestly, when people are like, what's the best diet? What's the best diet? Whatever diet you can stick to, and it's sustainable, that you can be at a healthy weight and your labs look amazing. That's the best diet for you. And it's different for everybody. I mean, I see some patients that have high cholesterol and they're like, what's the best diet? Well, vegan will definitely cut your cholesterol. But if you can't do vegan and sustain the protein that you need, that's not the best
That's
diet
really
for
hard.
you.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
I did it for a month, and I'm pretty good at getting protein in from all sources.
Yeah.
I still struggled.
You have
It's
to be
hard.
very intentional.
Yes.
Yes.
So-
and it's easy to fall off that wagon.
If you are trying to do more plant-based protein, what are the top ones that you recommend?
Yeah, so I like edamame or soy. That has to be organic or non-GMO for sure.
Yeah.
I like legumes, lentils, and those are really easy to just add on salads.
I found out very quickly I do not like lentils. So that made it very
Lentils do
hard.
not like you.
Yeah.
Lentils are tricky on cooking them. Even the difference
are.
between red and
They
green
can get mushy.
Yes.
and how long you cook them, they're totally different for red and green lentils, how long you're supposed to cook them, which I did not know until I made my red lentils mush. I think hemp is really easy to add to salads. Anytime you can do like seeds, nuts, those are easy things you just throw on that people don't realize can add a lot of protein over the day, but it's tough to do protein. But I do love the plant-based trend, because one of the things that women fail at miserably, especially as we get older when we're trying to lose weight, I mean, think about it. Okay, so say you want to lose weight. What's the first food you usually cut out? First food group.
Sugar.
Carbohydrates.
Oh.
Carbs.
Which
sugar.
counts as sugar, yeah. So carbs is normally, well, you lose fiber then.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you go from if you, now that we've talked about fiber, if you start looking at labels, you'll see, like, if you cut out carbs, you lose a lot of fiber. And fiber is so important for gut health, for weight, for hormone management. I mean, that is a good thing that's coming from the plant-based movement. So
I think what I'm hearing from you that is so interesting is I think what you have to be really careful with those fads is that you're trying to gain something good, but you lose a lot of things that you maybe aren't thinking about that your body needs.
yes. I mean, whenever you cut out a whole group of, I mean, even keto, you're cutting out all vegetables.
Yeah.
I mean, how do people,
Oh, yeah.
of course that's going to affect your nutrients.
Keto
Yeah.
is no vegetables.
I mean, you
Like
can do
barely any.
you can do low carb
So
veggies.
keto is
You can do green. I mean, people
No
talk
carb.
about
High-
green,
mo-
Basically,
green
no
protein
carb, low
based.
carb. Yeah.
Yep. Protein and fat.
Yeah.
protein
Dairy?
and fat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dairy.
Yeah.
You can do dairy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And some people do well with keto as far as their labs, but not everybody does
It's
well
usually
with keto.
very like short term too. Like people do keto diets to lose weight really quick,
Yeah.
and then they stop, and then it just comes back.
Is there a test or something that you can do that tells you for your body what diet might be best?
So in general, we use just conventional medicine type labs. So we can use your cholesterol and your liver function and your A1C and things like that. There are some like DNA tests that will help you kind of determine at least what your tendencies are. So genetic tests are helpful, but we just have to remember that doesn't mean the gene's on. Like information about your gene doesn't necessarily mean it's translated. Like I might like pink cars, that doesn't mean I drive a pink car. Or like I might like the color pink, but I can drive a pink car kind of thing. So yes,
So
there
just
are
because
definitely.
you have a gene, it doesn't mean that it's turned on.
Correct.
That's
Which
so
is
confusing.
It is confusing.
I know.
So much.
I know. I agree. I wish it was like straightforward. That'd be amazing if you could take a test and be like, oh, this is my diet.
This is what's for you.
I will be
and this is
successful
what's
at it.
not.
I'm
Yeah.
not wasting my time for the time.
But there are, at least it gives us a starting point,
Yeah.
right? Like we can look at those labs or look at those genetic tests and we can say, okay, let's do this for 3 months. Let's recheck your labs. And then we get actual answers versus like, I'm just going to try this for a bit and see how it works. And usually people can't stick with it.
So that goes with like anything, skincare, diets, exercise, all of it. Like if they don't see results after 2-3 weeks, they're like, it's not working, it's not for me. And then they stop.
I've been guilty of that. And it's funny that you mentioned skincare. I'm glad you did because my friend literally was just scrolling through Instagram and she's like, there's so many things just like flooding my feed.
Yeah.
How do I know like what works, what doesn't work? So your professional opinion, like what do you think that's out there now that actually like works and what do you think is like not like a total sham?
Yeah, there's so much out there. And sometimes I'm scrolling and I just have to like take a deep breath. And I'm like, oh God, can I report you? Stop telling people this. But I think the number one thing that I'm like so in love with that people are obsessing over right now is sunscreen. Sunscreen has somehow become a trend, a fad. And I'm like, yes, yes, applause. Because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when I was younger, like I would lay out with baby oil.
I was on the roof laying on a tinfoil blanket with baby oil.
And sunning in our hair.
Yes.
And it was orange.
Yes. I would lay out, we had a trampoline, so it was black. So I would lay out on the trampoline, covered in like Crisco, just baking, thinking I want to be really tan. And I never got tan. I'm so pale. Like this is all self-tanner. Like I cannot hold a color. I would just burn.
Well, you never know.
Then, well, that's the thing. I would just burn and then go back to being white. And I would just do it over and over. So much sun damage that I got when I was like 15, 16. Oh my gosh. So yeah, now people are like, oh, wear your sunscreen. And all these younger kids like starting sunscreen at a young age and all their parents are like, wear sunscreen. Because my parents never told me to wear sunscreen. Yeah. So
SPF 4, baby.
yeah, or no SPF, just oil. So that's definitely like, I'm so happy that as everyone's wanting to take care of their skin. But it can go a little haywire sometimes. I actually just saw the other day that there was a dermatologist on Instagram telling people to not wash your face in the morning because your skin's not dirty. And I'm like, okay.
But it's so oily.
But we know we detox through our skin and we detox the most at night. We detox a lot at night through our whole body, through our liver, through everything. And our skin is an organ and we're detoxing. And so if you don't cleanse in the morning, you're just letting all of that sit all day. And that's just going to dull
Don't you
texture.
have like a ton of like skin or cell turnover, like skin cell turnover at night that you would, I think,
and that goes with like the detox. And so there's just so many things that I see that I'm just, it hurts.
Is that the same for the scalp?
For what?
Like not washing your hair?
Because
my sister had
that is a trend.
Has
How long can you go without washing your hair?
Yeah,
I love that.
And it's good because the natural oils build up and your hair needs that. Is that?
So I'm not a hair expert, so I don't know. But so you have different follicles on your head than you do your face, right? So we have hair on our face called vellus hair. It's different than our terminal hair, which is on our body, pits, everywhere else hair, head. So that is going to just be a different composition in that skin cell matrix. And so the scalp head or the scalp skin is just so different from the face. So I'm not a hair expert, so I can't really give much advice in that department, but I mean, I definitely go a couple days without washing my hair.
I worked for
It's a
Veda.
balance, right?
It
with
is.
everything else.
Yeah.
Versus the face, you want to keep clean.
Yes, please.
But I worked for Aveda for many years, and they're the hair company, and they do skin and everything, but mainly hair shampoos and things like that. And they definitely were pro that trend of just not washing every day because sometimes it can make your hair more oily because you're just getting
stripping.
Yeah. So
All
and
the
I
chemicals and things
love
that
that
are in
trend.
shampoos. Yeah.
So it's funny that you mentioned this because I brought some things with me that are some beauty trends. Let me pull out my handy dandy bag down here. So I have
What do we have? Okay. Ice roller.
ice roller.
I love an ice roller.
And then dry brushing, which I'm a fan of. I think especially as I age, I don't know. I love it. And I think it's not only good for just like skin and dry skin, but like lymphatic, if I'm correct.
Lymphatic. Yes.
And so I don't know why I have 2. So maybe one of you can take it home complimentary for coming in.
Like this.
And
Save time.
I guess, yeah, 2 arms, 2 legs makes sense. And then a facial dry brush, which is.
Oh, is that for your face?
Yeah.
I don't. You sure?
Yeah.
I think that's for your bikini area.
Oh, well, there we go. I've been using it wrong. So there you go. Well, I'll buy a new one. I'll buy a new one. I will purchase a new one for the bikini area one, and I'll just keep this one on the face.
Let's not change those.
So you all can feel confident knowing this was not used in my bikini area.
Okay.
So that is what I brought. Have any of you guys used any of these, or do you guys have any fun
Yeah.
I
things
use
that
mine
you're
all
using?
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use my dry brush all the time. I love it. And whenever any of my friends say I don't get why you do that, it's because they're so young.
Yeah.
Because when you get older, your skin is drier, and I love dry brushing before I get in the shower, and then I get out of the shower and I do the Dermalac lotion, and I just feel like it gets the dead skin cells off, so you're not just moisturizing over the dead skin cells.
Yeah, it's a great exfoliation, but it's also great for lymphatic flow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So is that why you're
there's-
supposed to be doing it towards your heart? Everything towards your heart. Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know why.
And then there's like certain techniques, especially for the face too, that you can do to help just lift up the jawline and sculpt. Similar with like a gua sha. I don't know if you guys have seen those. The jade rollers, jade stones, things like that. So it's a similar concept as you're going to be sculpting. So you're doing some lymphatic flow, but you're also moving that tissue and just helping to like naturally lift and sculpt.
Is that for real?
It is.
Really?
But you have to be so consistent with it, just like anything. But if you do it once or twice a week, no. You have to do it twice a day, every day, religiously.
Twice a day?
Yes.
I don't have the time for
I
this
know.
stuff.
Can I brush and do
No.
it, or like do something else with it?
Can I
multitask.
walk on the treadmill and be doing
that's a good idea.
Seriously, it's like impossible to keep up with all it.
Yes.
Have any of you guys used the the mask, like the red light mask?
Oh my God.
You guys, I buy it all.
Listen.
I buy it all.
You have one?
Oh, I have that. I have the new skin, like the electro, whatever it is, like the 2 balls on it that you take up your face.
But the red light mask.
Yeah, I
Tell me
really
about
like
that.
it.
What do you like about it?
I don't know. It makes my skin feel good when I use it. Like it feels really weirdly like clean when I use it. Like my pores are very open and it's like feels refreshed, and I feel like it feels tighter. It's probably very pseudo.
No, it does. It's very stimulating. So
Yeah,
it
it's
stimulates
very
blood
stimulating.
circulation.
And
things in
I
the
really
skin.
like that. And I have the little electronic thing that you guys use in the
The high frequency.
the high frequency. I have that too. Juan.
Bug
Yeah, just
zapper.
come over. I got it all.
Man, let's do one of
I
these
got
at
it
your
all.
house.
But
I
those
know.
red masks are all over
Yeah,
Instagram.
They
yeah,
are.
I do like them. I do it before bed. It's kind of relaxing
They're great. But again,
Yeah.
it's the time. Not everyone has time to just sit around for 20 minutes.
because you can't really do anything else because everything is
Yes.
so you have to close your
Yeah.
eyes, so you can't like read or watch TV.
Yeah.
So you're kind of
Every time I see those, though, have you guys ever seen the movie The Mask with Jim Carrey?
Oh, yeah.
I can't help but think of that. Like, I'm afraid if I put it up to my face, like something's gonna happen. Every time I see those, I'm like,
That's
What do
funny.
you? I know you guys. Your kids are a little bit older. You got like I have younger kids, and there's a huge movement in like 10 to 15 to
Yes.
18-year-olds of
all into
skin.
skincare.
no.
Yeah.
Like
skincare.
my kids have friends that have those little fridges
Yeah.
for their skincare products, and she's like, "Let's go to Sephora." And okay, first of all, no, it is
Yeah.
so expensive.
so expensive.
Like you're gonna need to do some chores and earn some money.
Yeah.
But also they're putting all these things on their face. So now
Yeah,
Adeline knows
it's-
I get out my app and I'm like, let's see if it's a clean product.
Yeah.
They never, I mean, rarely.
Yeah,
are
and
they?
their skin is so
but-
young and it's still like growing. They don't need to be putting retinol on. They're going to damage their skin. They're going to have more harm than good. It's definitely a good thing. I like that it's creating a good habit that they can, wash their face and put moisturizer on. That's great. Leave it at that. So another one we have is ice rolling. Have you guys ever ice rolled?
I have never seen that.
I like it.
Yeah, so you keep it in the freezer.
Sounds lovely.
And it 100% amazing for acne. So if Mia ever has any like breakouts or anything, really good. Yep, it calms that inflammation right down. It's really good.
Is there any other thing that's good for acne? I know a lot of people struggle with that, like as far as like little trends. Like I know that my niece has, struggled a lot and always asked me.
A lot of them are going to be a hard no. There's a lot of trends out there that you're making your skin worse. But the high frequency that you had mentioned, that's really good. So that's going to be very sterilizing for the skin. It kills all the bacteria. So ice rolling, icing any breakouts is good. But the thing with acne is people tend to overdo it. They're doing way too much and putting way too much product trying to get rid of their acne when really they're just disrupting their barrier, and it's just going to get a lot worse because their skin's not going to be able to heal properly. And so it's really about like taking it back, being really simple and being really just like intentional
And consistent,
Yeah.
sticking with something for a while.
Yes.
I have so many friends ask me about acne, two fronts for their teenagers, and then also they're going through the phase of life where they're getting adult acne at the same time as their teenagers.
Yeah. And a lot of it is hormonal. And so that's where I love that we have Dr. Weston now, because a lot of it, it's like, I can help you a little bit on the outside, but if it's truly hormonal, then we have to dive in and we have to do some tests and we have to figure out where your hormones are at. And that's been a big struggle, especially for acne and skincare, because sometimes I don't have all the answers. Even though it's what I do, there's more to it that I can't answer.
A lot of the influencers I follow use those little pimple patches.
Yeah, those are great.
And then they'll like grossly like show you the result like when they take it off and like, ugh. But it seems to get out whatever's in there.
So the teenage girls are wearing
wear
those.
them.
They wear them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a trend to just wear the
Like-
patch.
and they have like
to
stars
school?
and shapes.
Seriously?
They wear them to school.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute.
They wear them out. They're wearing
It's
a little.
trend to wear the pimple patches out.
Yes.
Did anyone ever used to play the game Girl Talk where you had to wear the zit sticker?
No.
Oh my gosh, now
What?
I'm old.
Oh my, well no, I'm older than you.
You had to wear a zip.
It was like it was part of the game. It was called Girl
gosh.
Talk. And like if you got something wrong, you had to put on a zit.
Oh my gosh, no, I've never.
That's
I've
And now like
never-
everyone wants to wear them.
And now they're wearing them on purpose.
That is hilarious.
Wow.
So, so say someone sees a Groupon.
Oh God.
Like, how does someone tell? I mean, we'll say I'm asking for a friend.
Asking
Groupons
for a
are still a
friend.
thing?
Yes.
I had a patient have a Groupon laser hair removal, and she had permanent scarring on
Oh my gosh.
both of her legs. It was horrible. Anyway, how can you find, like, how do you know if it's a good
I
place?
steer away from Groupons.
Yeah,
That's just
I would
my
just-
preference.
It's so hard because I understand why they're doing it. It's trying to get clientele in.
Yeah.
If they're a new business, everyone goes for everyone wants a deal, right? But it's not always the clientele that doesn't always work out very well.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I've never heard a satisfactory Groupon story.
on either end.
No.
So like from the business standpoint,
Yes.
it's usually the people that are just shopping for the best deal. So
Yes.
they're going to use your Groupon and then look for the next Groupon.
Yes.
They're not going to like stick with
You're not
you.
going to retain.
You're not going to retain, yeah. And like on the opposite end, my friends too have had like not great experiences doing those things. Which,
Especially things like with your face. Like
Yeah.
you want to go to the best. You don't want to just go to someone because they're cheap. Like
You'd be surprised what people do.
I know, it's sad.
What about the sleeping bag things that everybody's getting into?
Like the sauna
saunas?
sleeping bags.
Yeah, and the infrared light bags.
Oh,
Have you seen those?
No, to sleep in?
No, they to lay in for the
think-
infrared light on
I
your
think
body.
Colleen has one of those. I'll have to ask her.
It's kind of like it's like a.
like a cocoon.
It's a cocoon. So you know the big fad right now of the infrared saunas.
Yeah.
But not everybody can buy an infrared sauna.
Yeah.
So you can buy an infrared sack that you crawl into.
Yeah.
And I think some of it being like zip
Yeah.
all the way up over here. I could
wouldn't do
personally
that.
not do that.
Yeah.
But
I couldn't do it over my head.
No.
I could do it the other way though.
Yeah. I've seen the little pods where it's like a little shell and you like slide into it and lay down and it's a bit heat and red light.
I'd have to compare like the values of actual infrared sauna and not, because I think sometimes people, it's kind of like saying cold plunge is good, but I can't do cold plunge, so I'll just do like 20 degrees.
Cold bath.
I'll do a cool plunge.
Or that's a cold shower.
Yeah, like that. I'm gonna do a sauna, but only like 110 degrees. Like,
Yeah.
it's different.
All or
You're gonna get
nothing.
different. Yeah. So I don't know. I'd have to look at the numbers.
I was going to ask you about the cold plunging because all of my friends are, first of all, so brave who are doing it, but are obsessed with cold plunging.
Cold plunge has a ton of great benefits. I would say mostly for your immune system and recovery would be the top ones. And then you can kind of infer that it would have benefits for longevity. But really the research is for immune system support and recovery. So I think it's a great trend.
I always think of things in terms of, I was a biological anthropology major, so I always think of things in terms of why are our bodies designed to want that and to thrive on that. Obviously, our lifestyles have gotten to a point where we don't have to experience extreme cold. We're controlling our environment all the time. So what are the biological, there must be biological benefits of forcing
100%.
our bodies into cold, right? Based on how our
there's
ancestry.
There's a book called The Comfort Crisis. And so it's like
so
a hot
good.
book right now, just about how we're all real comfortable. Like we don't ever have to have extremes of any kind. And so stress is good on the body. Like when our bones are stressed, you get more bone building. When our immune system is stressed, then, it's just when it's stressed chronically is the problem. So having those little bits of stress, and specifically with like sauna and exercise, that specific stress creates something called heat shock proteins. And those proteins help to, like when we get, as we age, our DNA becomes damaged. So it's been described as like either scratches on a CD or album or whatever. And so these heat shock proteins come and they fix those scratches. Ooh. And so that's the science behind sauna and exercise, is because it increases heat shock proteins. So, there are 100% benefits for stressing ourselves out sometimes.
So
it's
those
not
are
a
good
bad
trends.
thing.
I think I could get behind the heat trend more than the cold
Yeah,
trend.
the cold is hard. I've
I'm
done
with
it.
you.
It's rough.
So if you were going to say like what your top 3 skin, like if I were like, okay, Nikki, give me 3 things to do.
Sunscreen, number one. Sunscreen is the number one anti-aging product that you can use for your skin. It's so much easier to prevent than it is to correct.
Okay.
So definitely sunscreen. And 100% mineral sunscreen. So chemical sunscreens are effective. Minerals are going to be better. They're more effective because they're actually creating that barrier on the skin, whereas chemical sunscreens are absorbed in. So it's still allowing some of those UV rays into the skin. So you can still get some sun damage with chemical, which is why we always opt for physical. So your physicals are going to be your zinc and your titanium. So those are the 2 ingredients that you want to look for.
Do they have to be white?
Yeah,
So
pasty.
I know.
My kids are like,
aren't white.
Yes.
So I love Skin Better. So that's my all-time
too.
favorite
The tinted
brand.
Skin
Yeah,
Better.
the tinted and even the sheer. The sheer is
sheer is
actually
good, too.
sheer, not white. The white comes from the zinc, and it's just we're getting a lot better with formulations to where we're not walking around like we're just pastely. Yeah. Don't have the lifeguard on the nose. Yeah. So they're definitely getting better, but Skin Better is definitely my favorite. And they have SPF 75, so it's so good.
Amazing.
So definitely sunscreen. A vitamin A. So vitamin A is the reason that we age. So replacing the vitamin A is going to be crucial for anti-aging. So that can come in form of like a retinol at night, or for instance, we have Environ, which is the sequence serum you can use morning and night, has vitamin A in it, different kind of vitamin A, so you're not sun sensitive. And then a third one, consistency. That's going to be, again, with anything, is if you're only using sunscreen once a week, it's not going to help you. So.
Does it count if the sunscreen's in our makeup?
No.
Oh, okay.
Then why do they put it in there?
So I do the opposite. I use my tinted sunscreen as makeup.
And you can't.
And I
I've done
don't
that.
use
You can't.
makeup anymore.
Yes, because
I just
it
use
is a
that.
sunscreen.
Yeah.
And
I do the
I
same
put
thing.
my moisturizer with it to make it like a little bit go on a little bit.
So you should do your moisturizer first before your sunscreen, just because it goes on a lot better.
Okay.
Wait, how
So
can
you're
we
creating-
tell if it's a sunscreen that's a makeup or makeup that's a sunscreen?
It will be a tinted sunscreen, not a
Makeup with us.
SPF in it.
with SPF, because the amount of SPF. So say you bought a makeup with SPF 35, the amount of product you would have to use to actually get that full SPF factor would be almost half the bottle on your face, because they dilute it so much, and when it's in there with those other ingredients, and you can rate it on the list too of ingredients, it's pretty low. So yeah, it's in there, but it's so diluted that you're not getting protection.
How important is SPF on your lips?
Huge.
And is there something you can put on your lips that has SPF that doesn't taste and smell weird?
When you find one, let me know.
Right?
Because they're a little.
They're awful.
They are. Yeah.
But it's important.
It is important, and we tend to neglect our lips, and we age really fast on our lips. We get a lot of lines. That's why we typically opt for some filler in our lips to replace that volume. In our face, we lose volume in our lips and our cheeks pretty quickly. And so definitely the SPF on the lips people forget about it because you don't really think it's skin, right? So just like most people don't exfoliate their lips, they don't moisturize their lips because it's not skin, it's fine. It's definitely skin. You're still getting sun damage there. So you definitely want to.
Can you just put the sunscreen on your lips and then
I do.
put your
Absolutely.
regular, whatever you use on your lips over it? Yeah.
And don't
But if you're using it tinted, you will see
Yeah.
it. So
And don't forget your scalp. I have very thin hair, and I had a big basal cell removed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I will always have hats on now.
Yep.
But like,
And then my favorite for the scalp is like a powdered sunscreen. So instead of using like a spray and you get your hair all oily, you can use a powder.
yeah,
I've
it does
never
make
heard
it
that.
oily.
Who makes that?
Color Science has a
Okay.
really good one. We don't carry them. I want to.
Okay. What can you do nutritionally or supplement-wise for anti-aging?
Are you asking for a friend?
I am asking 100% for myself.
Honestly, the best thing you can do is eat well with protein.
Oh, protein.
So eating enough protein and eating enough fiber. Those are the two areas that are most important. And everyone's always like, well, how much protein do I need? Because there's a ton of opinions on protein. So recommended, the least amount of protein to not make yourself sick is if you take your weight, divide by 2, it gives you about how many kilograms you are, and multiply it by 0.8. That's the least amount you need for, that's like
No problem.
RDA recommended to like not be sick.
Bare minimum.
Interesting.
Bare minimum.
Okay.
Okay, say that again.
So you take your weight, divide by 2.
That gives you your
That's your kilograms.
kilograms
yeah.
and times
Times it by-
0.8.
yeah.
That's the bare minimum.
Bare.
Okay.
Okay, so then if I have someone who like is well muscled and they're not trying to build a bunch of muscle, they could probably do like 1.2, especially as we get older. Like we don't need a bunch of protein. We're just trying to keep our muscle. If I have a bodybuilder who's trying to do it, then we go to like 2 grams. So that's where you get a lot of people say like 1 gram per
body weight.
per pound of body weight.
That's what I always followed.
That's like that's to actually build a lot of muscle, which might be appropriate if you're not well muscled.
Yeah.
So that's where having like in-body assessments can be helpful because not everybody needs that much protein.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some research showing as far as longevity that like that high a protein is not
I was going to
beneficial.
ask you, like,
More
is
is
it-
not better.
Yeah.
All the time.
Like I know a lot of people, especially like bodybuilders, are taking in astronomical amounts of protein.
Yeah.
Like, could it be like negative?
So some of the studies, specifically out of USC, which is through Prolon, has done. So like it's that researcher, Walter Longo. So his research is on lower protein diets. And if you look at like blue zone areas, they don't all eat
Yeah.
tons and tons of protein. They eat a lot of plants.
They eat a lot of fiber, I bet.
They eat a lot
Yeah.
of fiber. So like plants and fiber is really important. And it's easy if I say try to, change some of your protein to a plant-based protein, you automatically get fiber typically. So it's easy to say that. But I just challenge people, like take a day that you feel like you ate amazing. Like you're like, oh my gosh, I am so healthy today. And take that day, figure out how many grams of fiber you ate. And then take a day that you're like, oh my gosh, I hope no one saw what I ate today. Take that day, figure out how many grams of fiber. And then you have a feeling, like a good day and a bad day, what you eat. And you really have to write it down for your fiber.
Yeah.
Because you can get tricked. I mean, I thought I ate pretty well and I checked my fiber. I'm like, oh, you're no better than anyone else in this country. So we're supposed to get 30 to 35 grams of fiber a day. That's hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
You have to be
I didn't know
intentional
it was
about
that
it.
much.
Yeah.
Because normally we get 10 to 12.
What about the collagen trend?
Collagen collagen can be super helpful for hair and skin. You could probably
We
speak
talked about
better.
the powder.
Yeah, the
supplement.
powder. I
Yeah.
feel like everyone's pimping that out right now too.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
So I'm actually interested to see like what you think about it,
Yeah.
just because of the studies that I've kind of read and what I've heard is
Yeah.
it's very conflicting on what you actually absorb versus like how it's manufactured and how it's formulated, whether it's in a liquid form, a powder form. So I don't know.
so part of the hard part about absorbing it is if you have your collagen with too much protein, it won't absorb well. And a lot of the collagens now are like, oh, you get collagen and you get this protein. Everyone wants everything.
Like add it to your
something
smoothie.
easy.
Yeah.
Don't add it to your smoothie.
Don't add it to your smoothie.
Oh, I've been adding it to my smoothie. I'm just like putting everything in the creatine, the protein powder,
Yeah. Creatine you can add.
You can add that. Okay.
Which that would be I'm pro creatine.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a big trend.
I love
Creatine's a big
creatine.
trend.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
people are scared because they think it's going to bulk them up.
Yes.
No.
So it can make you gain weight. The only
water
reason
weight,
is
people
water. Because it draws water into your muscle.
Okay.
So
Does it dehydrate you because it's doing that? Do
So you
need to
do
drink
have to
more
be well
water?
hydrated.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to be well hydrated when you have creatine. But it's not only good for muscle mass, but it's good for cognition.
Yeah.
So newer
good for your
studies
brain
show
health.
that yes.
So just do it for that even.
Just do it for that.
Yeah.
Just every day. It's the teeniest little thing. Taste
Yeah.
So tasty.
Yeah, it's no
I
taste.
mix it in this much water and just shoot it down.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like anything.
And-
the one we sell doesn't.
Yeah.
And then I get
Most of them
patients,
don't, yeah.
do I have to, I only take it when I work out. That's not, I mean, it's beneficial for those days you work out, but it's not beneficial for brain health. You have to do it every day.
Yeah.
I love
So
it.
that's one you do
Consistency.
every day.
Yeah.
Do you think collagen is one that you do every day for the benefit, or do you think that's one you could do
I
once a
don't
week?
use collagen personally. There are other things that I think are more important that are going to get more bang for my buck than collagen. So collagen's not on my list.
What if you did a collagen smoothie once a week though? That would be
That's where the thing, so that's what it is. Like, if you're not going to do it
right
every day,
then should you
why
not be
do
doing
it?
it?
Yeah. Now, I don't feel that way when
Really?
it comes to exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exercise, something is better than nothing.
Yes.
100%.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's your turn. Like, what are your top, if you could pick top three things nutritionally?
So it would be protein, fiber, and then with fiber, it also includes you have to eat plants. Like half your plate should be vegetables, all kinds. It should be really the rainbow. You should try to get different colors of the rainbow with every day. And so as far as protein, trying to have some with every meal. What else? I would say no naked carbs. So you should never just have carbs on an empty stomach.
Okay. Yeah, you taught me that if I'm going to have them, eat the protein first,
Yes.
and then
Some
like
protein
your
and fat,
veggies
fiber.
and stuff, and then the carbs last.
Yeah. So fiber is what our bacteria in our gut eat. So you have to eat fiber. I get, friends will ask oh, do I need a probiotic? Sure, you can take a probiotic, but if you don't eat fiber, you might as well just throw it right out the window because it's going to die because you're not eating the fiber.
If you're not eating enough of it, is it okay to supplement it? Are the supplements
Yes.
effective? Okay.
Yes.
Eating enough of what?
Fiber.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think fiber is underrated.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's important.
Love it.
That's
But
very helpful.
Back to you. It's your turn.
Okay.
So, you look amazing.
Thanks.
So, what are your top three things that you love for anti-aging or things you've done? Just in life, at the office, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want to mention that has stuck out in your head.
That's a very tough question. I think some form of exercise that is working on your core, everything that's supporting your joints. For me, that's Pilates and it's walking. Jeff and I do a lot of walking. He's really gotten into rucking, which maybe he's going to join us later tonight. So maybe you have to ask him about rucking.
I am unfamiliar, so I can't
Have you
wait.
ever heard of
Okay,
it?
no.
Okay, well, he's getting stopped by people regularly saying, "Are you rucking?"
What is
So there's this little secret community of people apparently who are into
okay.
this. It's wearing a weighted backpack.
Gotcha.
And, he's reading a lot of Mark Hyman,
Peter
Attia, listening to podcasts, going really deep on all of that. And I think it's Attia who is the big, so you'll have to ask him about that. So he bought me a rucking backpack and it is hot pink. Yep. So
when I think of you, I think of hot pink.
I am owning my hot pink rucking backpack. And then we told the kids we were going to wear signs that say, Mia and Hayes' mom and dad, and walk around walking with our rucksacks on. So embarrassing.
That's amazing.
But that's the other thing, is just not caring.
Yeah.
Not caring what it looks like. In the exercises classes, I was just talking actually with Jeff's mom about this. modifying things, listening to your body. I think for a long time I was nervous to try new exercise classes or to join because I thought, oh, they're already so much more advanced than I am. And I didn't want to modify. And I started doing a small group training, HIIT, strength training, because I was seeing you and we were doing all my tests. And I knew that I had to start lifting weights for my bone health, for my muscle mass. And I wasn't quite sure how to do that because I'm just not going to do that on my own, and I don't know how to do that. So I found this great gym. I found a great trainer. But the ladies who are working out with him had been doing it for a really long time, and I was really intimidated. But I just decided, who cares? No one is watching you. No one cares.
And they
Just
usually are
start.
rallying and excited for you, and they're usually
Oh my
really
gosh.
encouraging.
They were
themselves,
amazing. They were amazing. And so I just started, to your point about consistency, I just started going consistently and just showing up. And it's amazing. You can surprise yourself. Like, you can get where you want to be pretty quickly. And then just kind of measuring your progress where you've come from, not where you're trying to get to, but measuring that progress from where you started.
And celebrating those little things.
Yeah.
I love that you brought up, so we do muscle building, strength for bone and longevity, and then cardiovascular, so walking, and we talk about, there are multiple zones of exercise, but we talk a lot about zone 2 and zone 5 exercise, and you need majority in zone 2. I have a lot of patients who do a lot of zone 5.
Yeah.
Like everything is Orange Theory, everything is shred, everything is hit.
Yeah.
And that's not really, I mean, it depends, I guess, on your goals, but if your goal is longevity, doing HIIT all the time, or if your goal is healthy adrenal glands, probably not good to do HIIT.
That's what happened to me.
all the
Crushed my
time.
adrenals.
Well, and it starts wearing your joints down.
Yeah.
You start getting injured.
Yeah.
And then I would say my third thing is just really focusing on the nutrition. And for me, I've made a huge priority in my life and for my family, fixing food that is healthy, nutritious, and easy to make, and just good. Like, it tastes good. Those are sort of my 3 criteria. And I found through working with Dr. Weston and learning a lot about nutrition, I thought I knew a lot, but I've learned a lot more from doing the cleanse and reading books. And I think a lot of us are doing that. But just finding recipes. Like, people think, oh, I don't, how do you do it? How do you cook so much? How are you cooking all the time? Like, you're just one good recipe away from being a good cook yourself. You just find that recipe. And so that's what I spend most of my time doing, is just researching those recipes. And I put them in a notebook and I print them out. I put them in the notebook. If they're good, they go in a plastic sleeve. I write notes on them. I test them with my family. And then I'm compiling a library of recipes that are healthy, easy to make, and delicious. And it's really been fun.
How do you decipher a fad from something that actually works? And are there ways to, like, figure it out on your own? Or, like, what do you recommend?
I recommend being careful listening to social media because, as Nikki said earlier, like, they usually have an N of 1. So what worked for them works for them. It may not work for you. And it is nice to have some markers, some labs to at least start from, as like, okay, this is your personal journey. These are your labs, your genetics, your levels. Let's start from there and then develop a plan for you. And then let's recheck it and see where you are.
It's measurable.
It's measurable. Like, your journey is measurable. And that, I think, so it's just really dangerous to take advice from Instagram.
Well, and they benefit monetarily usually from the things that they're talking to you about. Yeah. So they're incentivized to convince you to do things too.
Yeah, they're sponsored by the brand that they're working with, or they get a cut of whatever sale they make.
Yeah.
And you really don't want to take the weight off quick. So what happens is, when we lose weight, 20% of the weight we lose normally is muscle mass, right? So you're going to lose some muscle when you lose weight. When you lose it super quickly and then you gain it back, all of the weight you gain back is normally all fat. So then you've lost that muscle mass. It doesn't come back. So when we gain that weight back, we're gooier and our metabolism is slowed. And that's well established in very old studies. For decades, we've known this. So your metabolism slows down. So if you're constantly yo-yoing, it is so bad for you. And then to recoup that, like to retrain your metabolism, that takes a lot of time. And those are the patients who are super frustrated because we're doing the same thing for 1 month, 2 months, and we're not seeing that weight loss. It takes a long time to change that metabolism. So you just have to be patient with yourself and just give yourself some grace. And also just remember the goal. The goal is really not weight loss, even though it is for a lot of us, but it is health. So to even see those markers change, even if weight is moving very slowly, sometimes that's helpful for people, I think. Perspective.
We want longevity.
We want longevity, yes.
Well, I think talking about weight too with women, it's like so important to not like fixate on the scale
I know,
and
it's
just
so
worry
hard.
about like, oh, I'm building muscle. Muscle weighs more than fat, so I might not be losing, but I definitely losing inches. Like I think focusing more on inches is something that will keep you
how
sane.
your clothes fit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think measuring inches is very helpful. And doing like an in-body.
Yeah.
The in-body
If you don't mind me
great.
saying, you posted your results.
I
You had
know.
tremendous
That was
results.
Very unlike me to do something like that.
But
it was
amazing.
fascinating because I actually gained weight when I first started working out, and it was I didn't panic. I knew I could see. Then you could see the ratio of your body fat to your muscle mass and understand what's actually happening.
I love that. Did you do that at your gym? Awesome.
Yeah.
How long
Yeah.
did it take you to see the benefit or?
So I did a
to see change?
2-month challenge with Fitness One, and I combined that with the 7-day cleanse from Donaldson, and I did them together. And it was a
Nice.
really powerful combination.
How was your energy?
It
doing
was
the
great.
cleanse with
I
that was
felt
good?
so good. I did the first 2 days. I didn't work out per the recommendation, although I think I wasn't supposed to work out maybe the full 7 days, but I did. I did because I felt okay.
You feel okay, yeah.
And I could kind of rest other parts of the day, but yeah, it was good. I really liked the shakes. I really liked. I had to hydrate a lot, and that's actually what kind of turned my hydration habit around, was doing that cleanse.
Nice.
That's what got me over, and now that was one of my worst things, was not hydrating.
And you
Very
loved the
hard for me.
recipes.
I'm sorry?
You loved the recipes.
I loved the recipes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was hard
were
though.
great.
It was hard. It was a lot of chopping
Ideal
vegetables.
patient.
And Jeff, we did it together, and I really recommend doing it with
Yeah, for sure.
with your person, because it was a lot of chopping, and we just made it fun. So
I think you loved it a little more than he did.
maybe.
He's
Yeah.
like, I don't like being told what to do.
I know. That's the other reason to do it with someone, because you have a hard day and they have a better day. You kind of
Yes.
take turns struggling and helping each other through it. So
I love it. I love that. Like you talk about hydration a lot, and what is proper hydration? Like, is it based on like you're supposed to have so many ounces per how much you weigh a day, or like is there a guideline for that?
Yeah, it is. It's like half of your weight.
Okay, a day.
And you can add things to it, right? Because
Yes.
you told me about
Yeah.
there are bad. We think all electrolytes are good, but you have to actually look at the ingredients, because some of them
Yes.
have bad stuff in them.
Yes, and it doesn't
Sugar.
have to be water. Like it can be
Okay.
sparkling
Anything.
water, it can be decaf tea. Yeah, I mean, it could be other things. It doesn't have to be all water. But obviously more if you exercise.
But the frustrating thing is when you start hydrating is you have to pee all the time.
I know.
Very true.
And that was all. I could never get through that phase to be consistent. I just would get so frustrated I'd stop. But if it's like the analogy of the dry plant, have you guys heard that?
Yeah.
When a plant is really dry, you pour water through it, the water just runs straight through, versus when it's hydrated. And so you
We
have to
also
kind
use
of,
that with the vagina. And estrogen.
Oh, okay. I was like, in what context?
I mean, a multiple use analogy. I love that.
And this is what I think about it.
I know. I couldn't stop thinking of
I
it.
know. Here, I've been using it wrong all along, and it's like this podcast for me to learn
not
about
gonna be
that.
able to
So
look at
when
I
are we
know you
doing
guys.
the sexual wellness podcast?
I'm not
I want to be
sure.
part of that one.
We'll have a whole island full.
I have a lot of friends asking about.
Speaking of that,
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of
wait.
sexual,
I know. I'm scared.
sexual wellness.
Oh my gosh.
I know you're dying to do it.
oh my gosh, yes!
2 hands. Come on. Shake it around.
That's
A trend that will
you
never
are.
die. and the thigh master at the same time.
Oh my gosh. I think I'd bonk myself in
That's
the
all
head.
you need.
They still make
come
that.
on, you gotta
I think
go
they have a
try.
name for that.
Were they always this big?
My bag, my trusted bag.
All right, you're too young, but do you remember
Yeah.
when that commercial came out? Do you remember thinking,
Oh yeah,
is this
a
for
million
real?
percent.
Yeah.
Yes, it was disturbing.
I
to
do
say the
see
least.
how it, I mean, you could
you-
get
No,
sore.
it actually,
Your shoulders.
It
I
actually
mean-
like
Oh,
you
you
get
think
sore.
that's legit exercise, maybe?
Yeah,
Do it
try
for
it.
5 minutes and then tell us tomorrow if you're
Try
sore.
it. You can definitely like
1
feel.
minute.
Yeah.
I mean, I might.
Oh.
It would.
You know
Yeah,
what? Wait,
yeah.
where's the bartender? Liz.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was like, shake, shake over
You know
your
when you
shoulder
see
there.
them with the
I don't know if it's gonna see.
Yeah.
with the cocktail shakers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming.
Yeah.
Cheers. This was so
Cheers.
fun. I
Thanks
can't wait
for
to do it
having us.
again. All right, I'm going to refill everyone.
Love
and
that.
get,
Yeah, I'm all-
Dr. Donaldson is going to take my place. To be continued.
I love it.
Wow, guys, we covered a lot. I hope this conversation answered some of your top health and beauty questions, and we got plenty more answers to come. Join me next time on Ask You for a Friend, where we'll talk about all things lasers, injectables, and skincare hacks. And dare I mention, we do go down a rabbit hole into sexual wellness and orgasms, lots of oversharing. You're not going to want to miss it. Don't forget to hit subscribe, share this episode with others, and follow us on social media. Until next time.